So today we are going to know about the chapter A Visit to Cambridge, which is written by Firdaus Kanga. Okay. In this chapter, we are going to know about the meeting of two extraordinary people. Both of them are disabled or differently able, as we can say. Stephen Hawking is one of the greatest scientists of our time. You might be heard about Stephen Hawking. He suffers from a form of paralysis that confines him to a wheelchair and allows him to speak only by punching buttons on a computer. So you can see how disabled he was, that he was not able to speak. He was speaking with the help of a computer, but still he was a great scientist. You can see here that we people are fortunate that our all body organs are functioning so properly, all body parts are functioning so properly. Still we make excuses that it is not possible, we cannot do this. Then these examples, when these people set examples to us, they motivate us that if they can do in this condition, where they are not able to speak, they are taking the help of the computer to speak, but still their disabilities has not become any hurdle in their achievements. So we can also achieve greater heights, as we are fortunate we are having each and everything. Pardoz Kanga is a writer and journalist who lives and works in Mumbai. Kanga was born with brittle bones. Brittle bones, you know, children, weak bones which can be broken easily, that tended to break easily when he was a child. Like Hawking, Kanga moves around in a wheelchair. So you can see both are great people. Like Stephen Hawking is also on a wheelchair, and Firdaus Kanga is a great writer, great author. Still, he is also on a wheelchair because he is having a problem of brittle bones, and Stephen Hawking is having a problem of paralysis. So they both are disabled, and they had a meeting, and they both have achieved the greater heights. Cambridge was the two great men exchange thoughts on what it means to live life in a wheelchair, and they are sharing their ideas how the life is on a wheelchair and how the so-called normal people react to the disabled. And they're also discussing how the normal people react to the disabled. They are having sympathy. They are thinking that these people are not able to do their normal course. Okay, normal work they can't do. So people are sympathetic towards them. They just see them with inferiority complex, that they are inferior to them. But you can see that they are not inferior, they are quite superior to us. Cambridge was my metaphor for England, and it was strange that when I left, it had become altogether something else because I had met Stephen Hawking there. So, Firdaus Kanga is saying that he liked Cambridge a lot, but what the special thing has happened to him that he met Stephen Hawking there, a great scientist. It was on walking tour through Cambridge that the guide mentioned Stephen Hawking, poor man who is quite disabled now, though he is a worthy successor to Isaac Newton, whose chair he has at the university. And I started because I had quite forgotten that this most brilliant and completely paralyzed as astrophysicist. So here Firdaus Kanga is describing Stephen Hawking that he was a poor man. Why he was a poor man? Because he was disabled. Okay. So you can see here the author of A Brief History of Time, one of the biggest bestsellers ever lived here. When the walking tour was done, I rushed to a phone booth and almost steering the cord so it could reach me outside. Phoned Stephen Hawking's house. So author telephoned at Stephen's house. There was his assistant on the line, and he was talking to his assistant. I told him that I had come in a wheelchair from India. Perhaps he thought I had propelled myself all the way. To write about my travels in Britain, I had to see Professor Hawking. Even 10 minutes would do. Half an hour, he said, from 3:30 to 4. So he called up at Stephen Hawking's home and he talked to his assistant and he told him that I have come from India and I want to take interview of Stephen Hawking. I'm a writer. I will write in my book. Okay. So then he is saying that if I'll get the time for 10 minutes only, then it will be okay for me. But the assistant is saying that you will be getting half an hour to meet Stephen Hawking. So you can see the picture of Stephen Hawking over there. And suddenly I felt weak all over. Growing up disabled, you get fed up with people asking you to be brave. As if you have a courage account on which you are too lazy to draw a check. The only thing that makes you stronger is seeing somebody like you achieving something huge. Then you know how much is possible, and you reach out further than you ever thought you could. So here the author is describing that being a disabled, there are a lot of difficulties people are facing. And it is a feeling of joy and happiness and satisfaction and relaxing when the disabled people is meeting other disabled man who has achieved greater heights. So it was, Fardoz Kanga is very happy to meet Stephen Hawking because he was also disabled like him, but he has achieved greater heights. So he is describing that now if he normally he is taking interviews of the people who are physically able, and they show pity on Fardoz Kanga. But now Fardoz Kanga is very happy that he is meeting a disabled man like him, that he will not show any pity to him, and he has also achieved greater heights, so he can learn a lot of things from Stephen Hawking. So he is so excited to meet Stephen Hawking. I haven't been brave, said his embodied computer voice the next afternoon. I have had no choice. So here he is asking Stephen Hawking, and Stephen Hawking is replying that I am not so brave, but I have no choice. That there is no option. If I will not be brave, I cannot face the conditions. I cannot face the situation. So I have to be brave. So he's saying that there is no option that I should be coward. I am brave because there is no choice. Either I should be brave or I should try on my disability. So he thought that there is no choice to me. So you can see how positive Stephen Hawking was. That he is saying that he had no choice beside being brave. And we people lose hope in simple things. When we are not able to do simple things, when we are getting less marks, we are just cried enough that what had happened to us, that we have got less marks and we cannot do this and we cannot do that. So you can see how positive he is towards life. He is disabled, he is having disability, he is not able to speak, but still what he is saying, that I am brave. Why I am brave? Because I have no choice. I have not kept any choice for me. I have not kept any choice to me that I should be coward. He has not chosen that cowardice. He has chosen to be brave. Okay, he has not shown that any option, any negative option to him. He has shown that I have on no option, despite being brave. Okay, so you can see how positive he was. Surely, I wanted to say, living creatively with the reality of his disintegrating body was a choice. But I kept quiet because I felt guilty every time I spoke to him, forcing him to respond. There he was, tapping at the little switch in his hand, trying to find the words on his computer, with the only bit of movement left to him. So he's saying that every time whenever the author is asking questions from him, what he was thinking, that he was feeling guilty because it was difficult for Stephen Hawking to find the words and give answer, because he was speaking only with the help of the computer. So Fardoz Kanga was thinking that I am guilty, I am just annoying the person. Okay. There he was, tapping at the little switch in his hand, trying to find out. Now the Stephen Hawking is finding the words on his computer and writing them out. Every so often, his eyes would shut in frustrated exhaustion, and sitting opposite him, I could feel his anguish, the mind bind with thoughts that came out in frozen phrases and sentences stiff as corpses. When you are giving answers in words which you are not speaking, they are dead words because we are not speaking them with emotions. Okay, they are not having any emotion, because if we are writing anything and we are not having any emotion, because we speak with emotions. So that's why he is saying that they are dead words, because he is unable to speak. And if he is not able to speak, there is no emotion is added with that, is added with the word. Okay, so that's why he is saying that the phrases are frozen. Why they are frozen? Because they have no expressions. Okay, and sentences stiff as dead bodies. Corpses means dead bodies. A lot of people seem to think that disabled people are chronically unhappy. I said, I know that's not true myself. Are you often laughing inside? Now he's asking that I often think disabled people are not happy. Why they are not happy? Because they are having problems in doing their daily chores even. So he's saying that I know that's not true. Are you often laughing inside? He's asking that do you feel happy inside?
About 3 minutes later, we respond, I find
He
the
responded.
amusing when people patronize me. And do you find it annoying when someone like me come and distributes you
Disturbs
in
you in
your
your
work?
work.
The answer flashed yes. Then he smiled his one way smile, and I knew, without being sentimental or silly, that I was looking at one of the most beautiful men in the world.
So he has asked why Stephen Hawking was responded in 3 minutes because he was searching for the words. And he is saying, I find it amusing when people patronize me. When people ask me such questions, or I feel amusing, I'm happy with my whatever I'm having. If I'm disabled, but still I'm happy. And do you find it annoying when someone like me comes and he's saying, do you find annoying when someone like me coming and disturbing you? He's saying yes, and he's smiling, and that smile made him, he was amusing, he was making fun. That's why, yeah, for those Kanga is saying that at that time he was looking the most beautiful man in the world. He was appearing to him most beautiful smile of that man. Being disabled still, he was having a lot of confidence and that he liked the smile a lot. So he's saying a first glimpse of him is shocking because he's like a still photograph because he's not able to move. As if all those pictures of him in magazine and newspapers have turned three-dimensional. Continue, beta. Continue.
Ma'am, can I read?
Yes, beta.